Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. We have another worm test this time, and it's a little unusual. It's arancini. I think that's how you say it. They're basically deep fried rice balls. Now, we're not wasting good food here. My daughters have a catering business, and they recently catered for a rock and roll dance we did. We managed to use most of the leftover food. We've frozen some, but these things apparently, because the rice is cooked at least once and then deep fried again, reheating them is a third heating, which is actually not very safe as far as bacteria goes. So I said to the girls, don't throw them out, don't put them in your green waste bin. I'm sure my worms will love them. So we'll see how we go. I haven't tried rice on the worms. They're coated in breadcrumbs, and being deep fried in oil shouldn't be a problem. The breadcrumbs should be fine because I've actually fed bread to worms before, but I don't know how they'll go with the rice. And I've got quite a tub of them here, and they've been in this tub for a couple of days, so they're starting to get a little bit of mold on them. But let's put them in a worm farm area I've got spare, and we'll see what happens. Okay, there's a garden bed here just beside the back door of the shop, and I've just got an old, I think it's an old painter's drop sheet there, and then there's a bit of cardboard underneath, carpet underneath. I have had some coffee grounds and things in here, and I dug it over just earlier today. There's a worm sitting on top there. I know there's some worms in here. There's not a huge population, but there's enough that I know the ground is suitable for the worms, and it dried out a little bit, so I've actually dampened it down just before. So we're going to spread these arancini balls. I think I'm pronouncing that okay. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Look at them. There's a great big pile of them. They're a little bit larger than a golf ball. They're probably halfway between a tennis ball and a golf ball as far as size goes. And I'm going to spread them out. They've gone a little bit mushy because they've been in that sealed tub for a couple of days. I'll spread them out there, and we'll give them a week. I would expect them to go quite mouldy. We'll come and check them then and see what's going on. It's been about 10 or 11 days, and I thought we should just pop in and see if the worms are enjoying their arancini. And look at the mould. We have every colour under the sun. Oh, they look a bit gross actually, but hey, look at that. Worms don't think so. So yeah, they're certainly gone mouldy. They're quite disgusting. We have a whole range, a rainbow of colours, lots of green. I'm not sure if the colours are coming out on the phone so well because it's dusk here at the moment and the light's starting to fade. And plus, the phone seems to be highlighting the brightness of them against the quite dark soil. But anyway, you get the picture. They're mouldy. They do smell a little bit. It's not terribly unpleasant, but it is a noticeable smell. And the worms are getting into them. But look, we won't disturb them anymore. We will leave them probably another week or two, and then we'll check them out and see how they're going. Now, it's been 3 weeks since I've last looked at this experiment with the arancini rice balls, and I apologise for taking so long. You know, Christmas got in the road and one thing led to another, and we just haven't got back here. Oh God, these look disgusting. Now, last time we checked them, they were super mouldy, lots of different colours. This time, there's still some mouldy ones, but they're really gone sludgy and gross. There are some worms over that side. Let's peel the covers back a bit more and have a scratch around. Alright, I've taken the covers right off. They still smell a bit, as you would expect by the look of them. There are lots of worms over here. Look at this. Now, there wasn't so many worms in this patch when I started this experiment, so these have all come in. Some of these almost look like they're mummified. So they're still going to have rice in these ones. They're pretty well untouched as far as any worm activity goes. But then around the edges, it looks like the worms are getting into them. Not so many there, but yeah, some have gone really very sludgy. Some have just stayed mouldy. They almost remind me of oranges that go mouldy. Some are just totally black, and some look really gross and slimy. So a bit of a mixture, but the worms are in amongst it. Not a lot. In fact, they're coming in from the edges. I noticed that with another test I did recently. Look, there's lots of worms around the edges. So I would say they basically take their time, like take their turn. Various bacteria will get in first, and as the conditions are right, the worms move in. There's certainly a lot more worms around the edges. But this does really smell actually, so I wouldn't recommend putting these somewhere close to your house. I'll cover it back over and I'll water it again. We might check it again next week and see if the worms continue to move into the middle of it. Maybe I'll leave it a couple of weeks because it's been 3 weeks and there's still a lot of it here. So I'm not sure if it's the rice that's taking time to break down or whether it's something to do with they're being deep fried or the crumbed coating. Don't know, but we'll leave it 2 weeks and we'll check it again. A further 2 weeks have passed, making a total of 7 weeks for this Arancini test. And it's been very wet and humid. Look at those worms in there. Wow. Okay, so whilst they were skirting around the perimeter for quite a while, they've finally decided that everything's tasty and ready for them. Let's take this cover right off. And there you go, they've moved right through. There's still a bit of a smell to it, and if we have a bit of a scratch around, there still is the remains of some of these Arancini rice balls. It doesn't resemble rice at all anymore. In fact, there's only a few left. It's very, very gluggy. This area though, we've had a lot of humid rain lately and a few storms, and this area has copped a lot of runoff, so it's probably a bit high in the moisture content. But without a doubt, the worms have now moved right in. They're finishing off everything. A successful test. I can't imagine many of you actually searching to see if worms eat Arancini, and I think the follow-up test should be just a test on rice. I might do it now. If you hear that panting, it's not me, it's Coco's come for a look. Haven't you, Coco? Yeah. So I think we'll do a rice test, perhaps just normal rice and cooked rice as a comparison, because I haven't done a rice test before. But the worms have certainly got into this. They've finished it off, well, they've just about finished it off nicely. I can perhaps dig this over. I might leave the covers off and just let it dry out a little bit. We'll get ready for another test. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Coco and I are just pondering how nice those Arancini balls were when they were still edible, and once they ceased to be edible for us, they were beautifully edible for the worms. It did take a while, and I would suggest if you're going to try something like this, don't put them too close to your house or in an indoor enclosed worm bin, because they did stink a bit. But they will break down nicely. Perhaps crumble them up a bit or break them down so that they're not in big lumps, and I think you'll find they'll be consumed very quickly. Okay, thanks guys. Catch you next video. Bye for now.